Hey MVPs, Rico Notes here. Going to talk to you guys about the main card, and I'm going to start with the first fight of the night on the main card. It's Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. And I'm going to start this video with a quick short story. Back in the Army, I was a first sergeant. That means you're the guy in charge of all the people, right? You're the boss. They call you top. You're the top of the food chain. You and the company commander get paired up, and you're an older guy. I probably had 16 years in the Army at the time. And I remember I got in my seat the very first day. I'm the first sergeant, and I get a call, and they're telling me, hey, a first sergeant wants to talk to another guy that I highly respect, somebody in charge of his unit and his 100 or 200 people or so. But he was down in Fort Benning. No, he was down in McGill. He was down in Tampa. Yeah, he was at Fort McDill. It was McDill. That was what it was. Fort McDill, Tampa. And he was calling me to let me know he had a soldier in his office that was reporting to his unit to sign in. That means you just got orders and you just transferred units, you PCS, permanent change of station. And he's got this soldier coming in, and he's a sergeant first class, and he just wanted to know where his orders were. And I was confused by this. So orders are a sheet of paper that tell you where to go and what to do, and you don't go anywhere without it, kind of like your license and registration or something, right? If you're traveling, you're on orders. And you have those with you, and you probably have 20 copies of it because you got to give it to every office you go into. And you do this to move your household goods. You do this to move your cars, to move your family, to get per diem. You need this paperwork to go and sleep at hotels and use your government travel card, government credit card. Apologize about that. So the point I'm trying to make is I've never seen a soldier travel without orders, and we all know this. And they're talking to me about a guy who'd been in the Army 15 years, a sergeant first class, a senior ranking guy. You know that guy yelling at everybody in Full Metal Jacket, the drill sergeant, right? That dude screaming and yelling, cussing everybody. That's an E7. That's a sergeant first class. That's the dudes right below me as the first sergeant, right? So they're calling me to tell me that they got a guy in their unit. He's brand new. He just showed up, and they want to know what they're supposed to do with him. And I'm like, why the hell are you calling me? This is weird. I don't understand. And he gave me the name, and I'm brand new. I don't know the guy. He works for me, apparently. And he said he doesn't have orders. So I go to my office, and I go to my people who work for me, and I say, hey, where's this guy's orders? And they go, oh, we have them right here. I'm like, okay, well, if we have them, can we just email him a copy? Did he clear the base? Did he do that? You have to do all kinds of stuff before you leave. You got to make sure all your books are in balance, right? You can't just leave one duty station and go to the next one. You got to go get signatures and say you don't owe people money around here. So they come back and let me know, hey, Top, that guy didn't clear the base. He didn't clear the unit. He didn't clear anything. He just up and left. He just got in his car one day and just drove. And I thought to myself, well, that's impossible. Because how did you drive to Tampa 7 hours? And what about your household goods? What about your bed and everything? Like, what about your house that you live in? Because you got to clear it out and move, and you got to do a bunch of stuff with your orders. You don't have your orders. What is this? So I finally get the guy on the phone, and I said, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, are you my first? I don't know the guy. He don't know me. I don't know him. I said, yo, man, you work for me? You're in my unit. You're on my MTO. You're on my TDA. I own you. What the fuck are you doing? He's like, oh, I just came down here to get. I said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to bed, and then you're going to wake up tomorrow, and you're going to get in your car, and you're going to drive your ass back to Georgia, and you're going to be in my office by 1500. So you're going to start your day at 06, and you're going to drive till you get to me, and I'm giving you 2 hours to take a 1 hour break for breakfast, 1 hour break for lunch, and you'll be in my office in uniform at 1500. And the dude showed up. He got there. He drove all the way back, and I said, okay, I got a couple questions for you. Where's your badges? Because we have badges to get in the building. Where are your badges? And the dude's like, I gave them to my buddy. What? You have to turn them into S2, get read off so you can get out of the skiff and go to another skiff. Like, this is not okay. You have a top secret security clearance. You can't move like this. Okay, now let's talk about your house. Where's your house right now? Oh, I still have it. So where were you going to live in Tampa? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I still got to move all my furniture out and get a U-Haul, but I couldn't get a U-Haul approved because you didn't have orders. You don't make sense right now. And I'm screaming and yelling. I'm cussing this dude out. And now I got a problem. Because I'm looking at a 16-year veteran who's acting like a private, who's acting like a damn child and doesn't know how things work around here. So now I got to go and get somebody and say, all right, you're going to escort this dude around and make sure he goes and clears everything. And this is impossible. This guy's supposed to be a boss of 30 people. He's supposed to be a platoon sergeant. He's supposed to be running shit. And I'm losing my mind. It's my first day at work. First day as a first sergeant. Well, come to find out, the next day, I say I want you at my office at 07 in full uniform so you can go around base and start clearing because you need to be in uniform to clear. You're not going to that next unit. I don't care what your report date is. You got to clear here first. Be here at 7. Next day comes, he doesn't show up at 7. Now you're testing my gangster. Now we got a problem. You didn't show up at 7. It's 8 o'clock. He doesn't show up at 8. Now it's 9 o'clock. Now this is the start of the day. This is business right now. And now you're not at work. We got a problem. So I send a search party out looking for this dude. I send out people to his house. He's still there at the house. And he says, I got a headache. And we're like, yo, what? Did you go to sick call? I'm not trying to deal with this shit. You got to clear, bro. I said, get to my office. He doesn't come to my office. He drives straight to the hospital. Straight to the hospital. He goes on base to the hospital, and then I don't hear from him again. And I'm like, I ain't got time to deal with that. I got 100 other people to deal with, 200 other people to deal with. I can't even worry about this nonsense. So I tell one of the other platoon sergeants, you deal with that. I'm attaching him to you. You deal with that, and I'm going to get back to work over here and do some other stuff. And I look like a monster right now because I'm cussing this dude out every chance I get. I look like Dave Portnoy. True story. So later that day, we get a call from like the county or from the hospital off base. And I say we, they call my commander, who's my boss, right? But we're battle buddies. We're brothers. And we actually shared an office. Like, we're together. The dude lived 3 houses down from me in my neighborhood. Shout out to my boy Weaver. But anyways, we get a call, and he says, the guy on the thing says, hey, do you own this guy, this particular guy? Is he one of your soldiers? Is he part of your unit? And we said, yeah, we're trying to get him the hell out of here. What's going on? They said, we had to take him into emergency surgery. He had a brain hemorrhage. We had to put a stent in his brain, something, and homie was induced into a coma. And we were like, yo, what? No wonder he could never articulate a single thing to me. He was just talking gibberish most of the time, and he was not doing anything expected from a veteran. He just wasn't doing it. And eventually, he stayed in the hospital for like 60 plus days. He eventually gets med boarded out, does not continue to serve in the Army. He's a medical retiree, I don't know what he does today, but it's nothing productive for society. The dude is a shell of himself. He's almost like, it's unthinkable of what he is. He can't possibly do the work anymore. And I feel terrible about it sometimes. Because sometimes you got to sit there and assess the situation. But he never once mentioned anything other than, oh, I got a headache. And I'm going, well, we all got headaches, bro. I got a headache. I skipped breakfast. I'm in a calorie deficit right now. I got a headache. I got the shakes. Fuck is wrong with you? So I mentioned all of that to tell you that's Vicente Luque. That's Vicente Luque. We have a fight here, Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. And if you didn't know, Vicente Luque has been rock, sock, and jock all day long. He's got brain damage, bro, and nobody wants to tell him. Nobody wants to talk about it. But he's making decisions that aren't that great. And here he is. He's 33. And I'm sure he's going to go out there and fight his ass off. But for me, Vicente Luque is a shell of himself. He's not the guy that you thought he was. He's not. And the thing about it is he doesn't talk much anymore. Kind of like the slurred speech from Nate Diaz just showed up out of nowhere. Or who's that dude? Max Holloway? Just like, yo, he took one too many shots to the brain. This man's only 33. And he's just silent. He's the silent assassin. That's his nickname. He's just silent nowadays. So the last time he was in the cage was back in December. And he beat Themba Gorimbo, the Panic wrestler. He beat this loser of a guy. Shout out to Themba Gorimbo. But he beat him. He submitted him in the first round. And everybody's kind of convinced, like, yo, he's going to do this. I can't get on the Vicente Luque hype train. I can't get on it. Number one, he's a striker, and he's afraid to strike. This is how we get into those grappling situations with Themba. He doesn't want to strike. Buckley put him on Q Street, and if you don't know what street that is, go ask your battle buddy. But then there's Rafael Dos Anjos over here, RDA, aging guy. They go 5 minutes, and if you go back and watch that fight, Vicente Luque just does not want to strike. And this is what he used to be. This was his signature, was to be a great striker. And you can see back in the day when he beat Tyrone Woodley, when he beat Randy Brown, when he beat Nico Price, this is when he was throwing them things. But everything went wrong right here with this Jeff Neal knockout, 2022. And he's never been the same since. That Jeff Neal knockout did it. It was done. And the worst thing about it is you're getting knocked out in the third round when you're exhausted and you're no longer that guy. And he won't tell anybody there's something wrong with him. But this dude's brain is halfway to Tampa right now, and he doesn't know what to do around here. That's how I feel when I watch Vicente Luque in interviews, preparation, training, and obviously when he fights. I feel like he's just fighting scared, and when he's scared, he just wants to clinch and not get hit. Then there's Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, you guys know the deal. Kevin Holland don't care if he wins or loses. He just wants to be busy. He just wants a paycheck. That's a dude who fought 3 times last year. He fought 3 times in 2023. He fought 4 times in 2022, 3 times in 21, and 5 times in 2020. It's insane how active Kevin Holland. Look at all the blue over here. Look how many fights he has in the UFC. Look at all that. Fights in the UFC since 2018. We're talking about since June. So yeah, we can do it every year, right? 7 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 fights so far. This will be his 27th fight in 7 years. 4 fights a year? That's an insane pace for Kevin Holland. And what have we learned in that time? This dude don't give a shit if he wins. He don't care. And neither does the UFC. So some weeks he'll go out and just be terrible and just be kind of aloof. What's the kids say nowadays? Nonchalant dreadhead. That's Kevin Holland. I'm just saying that's Kevin Holland. Nonchalant. Look, mama, there's a girl behind you. You know, I know what all these phrases are, but I'm just telling you that this guy is unreliable to no end. Now, we had him beating Gunnar Nelson. Shout out to us. We picked him to beat Gunnar Nelson recently. We knew he wasn't beating Rainer de Ritter because we know he's got that quit in him. And we know he's not real fighting Roman, right? He's not fighting any of those guys. He's fighting a dude who is debilitated mentally. A guy who's afraid to strike. And they're not in a small octagon. They're not in the Apex. This is a regular size octagon in Jersey. So there's a lot of space. And Kevin Holland moves really well. Now, I hate Kevin Holland. I'm like, full disclosure. I hate Kevin Holland. I do not like the fact that he's not professional. I hate the fact that he talks during fights. I hate the style of fighting. Everything about him. And I hate that he's unreliable when it comes to predicting wins and losses. This guy is very difficult to make predictions on. You agree? Yeah. All you gamblers out there, I'm sure you do. Kevin Holland's hard to deal with. But he's fighting Vicente Luque, and Vicente Luque can't wrestle him. And that's what he's going to have to do in this fight because I know he doesn't want to get hit. He can't wrestle Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's takedown defense is terrible. It is. But Vicente Luque is not some takedown artist. You can go look up all the stats you want. This dude's averaging 1 takedown a fight. 1. Maybe. And he doesn't really hit it all that often. Okay? He's just not there. Now, he gets subs, but even the Themba sub, that's not a real submission. That's a clubbing sub. He hit him twice and then got the sub. Okay? That's a clubbing sub. But he's a great striker. He really is. But I think you can just hit it. You remember the old school Nintendo? You can just hit his knockout button. You can just hit his reset button really big and everything. So I'm saying all this because I'm trying to convince you guys that Kevin Holland's going to win this fight. Now, there's a trick to this. I'm not proud of this. We're going to have to talk about it, MVPs. We're going to have to talk about it. You guys see it here. Kevin Holland is green. What am I doing? I just feel like I have to go this route, and I don't like it. And I don't like it. I really don't. There's nowhere else for you to find real value for the most part. I mean, you guys can find some value in some of these other guys that I believe in, right? They're out here. But when we're talking about these 600s and 700s, it's gross. And it's getting worse. But I don't think this is too far-fetched. But listen to me, MVPs. The blind tailers of the chart, those people, they're not MVPs. I don't even listen to them, okay? For those of you watching this video right now, and you got through the whole story, and you got to hear about this nonsense and all this, you guys are fans of the channel. You guys are fans of how I produce my content, and I want to thank you, okay? But you will not be an MVP if you're consistently picking Kevin Holland, okay? He's not that kind of guy. He's just not. He's not reliable in that regard. Now, I'm taking him back-to-back weeks. When's the last time Kevin Holland's won back-to-back? Right here. Santiago Ponzinibbio and Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa, he's an announcer, okay? And Ponzinibbio's fake with terrible ears. So, like, okay. Gunnar Nelson, Vicente Luque, kind of similar in that regard, right? He's not fighting these world-class ass-kickers right now. He's not fighting these guys. And if there's anything you need to know about Kevin Holland, he's lost to major names. Chimaev, Stephen Thompson, not a major name, but a good name. A champ in JDM. Michael Page, Venom Page, losing to him. Roman Dolidze, a champ contender. He loses to championship caliber contender fighters. He doesn't lose to the other guys on the roster. He doesn't really lose to them. He can beat those guys. And Vicente Luque feels like just a name on the roster that Kevin Holland can beat. That's my assessment. And I'm going to rock with a guy that I don't really trust. It's really hard to make predictions on. But I think it's because he's fighting somebody who's actually debilitated and no longer who they used to be. Right? I didn't know that Sergeant First Class before my interaction with him on the phone that day, before being told he didn't clear properly. I'm sure he used to be a very intelligent guy and a very dependable guy. That's how he got to his position and all that. But today, he's a shell of himself. He's just not that guy anymore. And I didn't know that going in, right? I'm looking at Vicente Luque. I need you guys to know, if you go watch some highlights of him, he's going to look like a monster. He's not that guy anymore. Oh, by the way, just saying, Vicente Luque has 10 losses. This is a guy pretty comfortable with losing. And yes, he's lost to some monsters recently, but he also lost to Stephen Thompson. He lost to Leon Edwards. But this is back when he was a good fighter. Back here, he was like in his prime back here. But when you look at who he's beat, they didn't age that well. Beating Mike Perry, that's not a big deal to me. These are pretty good, but he's fallen off since then. And I just don't feel like he's it for this particular fight. I'll stop it. Man, we're at 18 minutes on this video. I apologize. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.